Ever had the feeling of someone following you, watching your every step, slowly creeping up to you? You hear someone walking behind you and you find out it wasn't even a someone, but rather a something. The following story is one of my personal favorites, and it is creepy as hell. Just a little background of the country I'm from. I'm from a small country. We have to build skyscraper-like buildings, but instead of like offices and stuff inside, it's full of apartments. We'll call it flats. So people, mostly middle-class people, have to live in these apartments, of course. I'm one of these people. Let me try to describe the place of the event for you. Once you get out of the elevator, no matter what floor you're on, except the first floor, you'll be in a little lobby-like place. On the left is where the stairs are. On the right is a whole row of apartments. That's right, a long pathway with apartments at the sides. The pathway is usually lighted at night. It better be, because it is scary as hell if it wasn't lighted. With this, I present to you the story. Enjoy. The story follows our friend whom will be known as Bob. Bob was a good man. So good that one day at work, he volunteered to work extra hours in the office. Extra hours means leaving for home later, which means reaching home at night, which means shit is about to go down, so he went home. Took the last bus home, reached his flat, took the elevator up to his floor. When he reached his floor, he exited the elevator. On the left, stairs, but there was someone on the stairs. A man, he was just lying down there. Bob thought he was drunk and passed out. It was dark. Bob couldn't see the man's face. On the right, the long pathway. Unfortunately for Bob, his apartment was at the end of the pathway. The last house. But that night was different. The lights were not working. The only light source lighting the pathway was the moon. It was creepy, but Bob thought nothing would happen. Man, he was wrong. Bob walked towards his house. He could see the door from a distance. Suddenly, he heard tapping from behind him. It was too light to be a person's footsteps, but too heavy to be an animal's footsteps. The weird thing was, after each tap, there was a long dragging noise. Bob got scared, but he chose to ignore it. He walked faster, rightfully so. The tapping got faster and louder. Halfway through the seemingly never-ending pathway, Bob built up the courage to look back. It was the man, lying face down on the floor. He was dragging himself with his hands. The man wasn't even looking up. His face was flat on the ground. Behind him was a trail of blood probably left behind from his face when he dragged it on the floor. He was crawling towards Bob. Bob ran to his door. The man dragged himself as fast as Bob ran. The man caught up to Bob, almost grabbing his legs, but Bob managed to get into his apartment just in time. He locked the door and just stood there, stunned, petrified. Would be a better way to describe how Bob felt. Wait, I'm not done yet. Suddenly, the door started banging. It was as hard as someone kicking the door. Bob looked through the peephole of the door. He saw the man still lying down, but this time he was looking up, blood oozing out of his face. He didn't even have a nose. His tongue was sticking out. It was longer than it should be. The man then banged his head against the door. He didn't use his hands or legs or body, but his head, blood splattering all over. Bob ran to his room and just hid under his blanket. The banging went on all night. The next morning, he looked out the peephole and there was nothing. The bloodstains along the pathway vanished. But at the bottom of his thick wooden door, a dent. Caused by what? You guys should know.